You quit your job after applying to be on the show. What, are you trying to be a cheeky little You think this is going to land you a job somewhere? Are you paying bills? What the is happening? What am I sitting in front of right now? What the are you talking about? What are you on?
I'm sure most of that was necessities, right? I mean...
Are you actually stupid?
Yeah.
What's your addiction tendency around this?
I think it's a vice.
What, are you telling me you don't do this anymore?
I slow down a lot. I can start smoking cigarettes, and cigarettes
Wait, why do you need something bad? I don't get this.
You don't want a hug?
Nope.
Okay.
Maybe we can dock when we're done if you want, but...
Sure, man.
Logan, welcome back to Financial Audit. Happy to have you here. He's my arch nemesis is the name of the title. Yeah. So the fair warning, or actually more of what I hope to get out of this, this mug is broken. Because I just filmed with a guest right before you, and he was the most infuriating piece of shit I've ever met in my entire life, so I threw the mug. Not at him. I'm not a violent individual to humans or to living things, but to a chair I certainly was. So please let this be a positive update. I want good shit here, man. I want good shit here. Okay?
Yeah, I think I've been doing a lot better than I was.
Good.
Definitely in a much better mental state. Took a little time, relaxed.
Well, I know you were taking a lot of time to relax last time, which was kind of part of the problem. Well, let me give a recap of what happened last time. Then I'd love to hear what... we uploaded you in October of last year. So, yeah, we're looking, what is that, 6 months-ish?
About.
Cool. You were unemployed at the time, which we do not allow on the show. However, you quit literally as you were coming on the show, essentially. So we don't allow unemployed people on the show because how can you make a budget on unemployed? You went to Hawaii for a week, and when you got back, your mindset was on vacation mode all the time. And then I asked you if you had an emergency fund before you quit, and you said you used it all just paying bills, and you got a new car that you had to pay for. Oh my goodness, okay. Yeah, and you quit your job 2 days before applying to be on the show and 3 weeks before we actually filmed the show. And I asked what your plan was, and you quit your car salesman job, and you said you didn't think about it. So, great. Then I asked why you actually applied to be on the show, and you said, and I said you didn't seem like a serious person at all, and it's because, honestly, you really didn't, but you said you wanted a plan, but to travel more. And then I saw you spent $4,279 in the most previous month. You thought you spent $2,000. $800 alone was at the grocery store just for you. Your car insurance was $614 because you had a nice, fast, fancy EV. Gave yourself a 3 out of 10 on your Hammer financial score. Girlfriend got a personal loan to help pay for your trip to Hawaii to visit your friend, and you paid for him and his girlfriend, to go with the loan, and the loan was $4,657. And you go to Houston once a month for vacation, you and your girlfriend, right? Drive up and stay at a hotel and drive back 2.5 hours. Houston, classic vacation destination, and you spend $750 each visit. My goodness, it's crazy. And then for your girlfriend's birthday, you spent a few $1,000s on a Houston trip just a couple months ago. And then we talked about future plans. And you said you're going to go to the Thanksgiving Day parade, but then you promised through the conversation that you weren't going to. Did you go to?
I did not go.
Thank you. Whew, thank you. I told you pretty obviously, and in reality, you're not a credit card person, and you finally started waking for that, and you promised you'd go through the budgeting program. Did you? Good. You went through the budgeting program. Make sure you use the budgeting app as well. We designed it specifically for just like anyone can use it. Is the easiest thing in the world, okay? Use it. And if you're going to spend that much money at the grocery store, you get the cookbook for free. Everyone that gets the annual version, A Simpler Budget, and changes their life, I send you a signed version of the cookbook and the Simpler Budget Founders Edition Journal, which is limited edition and will be going away soon. But and there's tons of gold coin via Trustly charges on your checking accounts, this online poker. And he said, everyone I know smokes cigarettes and drink as a vice, and it feels like I need a vice, so this is my vice. How the f*** would you need that? And then some, I think, honestly, happened. You called for the job, and then someone answered, and you like pretended like it was a special little conversation, like a fresh conversation. Was this person even real? Be honest with me now. You're here. It's the redemption arc. Was that person actually the person who worked at the company?
Yes, I work there now, and I have been.
Really? A lot of people thought it was fake.
No, I
I thought it ended up being fake in the end. After I read the comments, they kind of convinced me it was fake.
No, they were brutal. I was like, damn.
Comments are always brutal, but as I tell every guest, I tell them now, I don't know if I said these words 6 months ago, but I tell them the best way to prove the comments is wrong, because there's a big platform now, so there's always going to be negative comments. Best way to prove them wrong is to come back here, kick ass, and show that you're making progress. So I hope you did. But the debts we had at the beginning: credit card, Apple Card, $477.38. Blue Cash Preferred, $528 at 27% interest. Capital One Quicksilver, $207. These aren't that crazy balances at 27% interest. And then Mileage Plus United, $9,436 at 59.99% interest. 25.99% interest. Then a personal loan, $4,657.22 at a 9.5% interest, and a Kia car lease. And that was a 48-month lease, $536 a month, and then you were yourself with the car insurance. Checking account, nothing. Savings was $10. 401k, surprising $5,491. A diamond in the rough of just that absolute horrendousness. And then your Hammer financial score, it was a budget 0 out of 10, debt 2 out of 10, because it's not really the worst debt, it's just your income situation was nothing. Emergency fund, there was nothing, 0 out of 10. Retirement was okay, 4 out of 10. And real estate, 0 out of 10, 1.5 Hammer financial score out of 10. The immediate actions were to get a new job. And I said apply to every job in the world, potentially using your sales experience and getting into sales, tech sales, customer service. Obviously, we talked to that person, and it sounds like you did land that job. Then you had to go through monthly budgeting. I couldn't create a budget because there's no income to create a budget with. And then you needed to bring in a minimum $4,000 a month, making some dents into that debt. So, general life update before we get into the specific numbers. What's going on? How has everything been?
So things are doing a lot better. I started that job after here. I went and your interview went really well. I got mentored by them, and they said, hey, we really like having you around. We want to send you back to school to get certified in that.
Really? In what? What are we talking about?
In architectural drafting. So,
interesting.
So they're going to send me back to get a certificate or some sort of.
They haven't yet?
They have not, but we've been in the talks with it. They want to get me a little bit more ahead of the curve before they're like, hey, we're going to drop several $1,000s on you.
Sure. And what is your current position at the company?
Kind of like advanced intern. I do some drafting, but I'm also the guy who they call every morning to get them coffee and kind of lowest man on totem pole.
The job.
Yeah.
It happens. Every company has a job.
So I've got that.
We've all done the job.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, you're starting, you're moving up, and it looks like there's already opportunities in there. They're talking about paying for a certification. It shows, it demonstrates. A lot of people aren't willing to accept the job, the grunt job. But it's okay to, because it gets your foot in the door. And if it is a company that actually promotes people, that promotes career advancements inside of the company and invests in their people, it is okay to get that grunt job. I mean, this is just for an example. He's back there. It was a grunt job without even thinking about a grunt job. But Jake, who you met and who's on the post show and everything, when we first started working together, we just needed a little extra help. So he just crunched some numbers virtually in Michigan. Now he's a full-fledged producer on the show, comes up with activities that are done in the show, works on camera, is in the post show. It just shows it's okay to accept that little, nugget. Just because if you can move and really settle in at a place and start making something for yourself. And that's really cool. So I'm happy to hear that. What are you making in this glorified intern position?
So that's one job. I have a second one as well.
Well, what are you making in that one though?
So in that one there, I make about $650 a week.
Hey, okay, sure.
And
I mean, it's more than zero, which is what we were doing.
So it's $650 a week. And then my second job, I'm a server. I work 3 or 4 nights a week. And that one brings it usually averages about $4,000 a month is what
just the server?
No, both of them together.
Both of them together, okay.
Because some weeks I have to take a day off to go
honestly,
do something.
You could have been making $1 a month and it would have been better than last time, but I am happy to hear we're looking at about $50,000 a year. Is that net or gross?
So that is, since most of it's going to be tips and everything.
Do you claim the tips? Okay, so $50,000 in your pocket a year. 48 really, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're doing a lot better than that. I did start the server position fairly recently, so kind of trying to schedule myself and not burn myself out because I do have a really bad habit. Me and my boss talked about this the other day.
Of gambling?
Well, that too. I did slow down on that.
Okay. I mean, 0 would be preferred if we're in a debt and can't manage our finances, but sure.
But my boss was like, hey, you came in here and you were knocking home runs the entire time. And he was like, hey, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I think you burnt yourself out a little bit. You went hard on it. I did. I went into it. I had something to prove to myself. I was like, hey, I'm going to be the best person possible. I'm going to show up early every day. And I've caught myself slipping a little bit. And so is my boss. And he's took me off to the side. He's like, hey, this is kind of starting to worry me a little bit. You get your things together.
While you were going hard.
While I was going hard. Because I was going hard.
But did you ever do the fall out of it, though? Where you started to be like, oh.
It was more of a, oh, my God, I'm working a lot. I've got the second job as well.
How many hours a week were you putting in?
Between the 2 jobs, I was probably closer to 50.
Okay.
It's not a whole bunch.
I mean, it's obviously higher than the norm, but it's not like this. You're not like pushing 70, 80,
no,
which is like how the am I even breathing?
Back at the dealership.
When you're young, you have the energy, you have the time. The mental capacity, but okay. So he was catching it before it reached the bad spot.
Yeah, and he put me off to the side. He said, "Hey, man, let's talk about this. Let's get you into a position. Let's figure out some way for you can continue going without burning yourself out." Because he said, "I like you. I want to keep you here, and I want to eventually put you in that program to get you certified."
Yeah.
And so he said, "Hey, let's take a step back. Let's work on work right now and not do work and school at the same time."
What'd you guys do then?
So he put me on some more simpler projects. He kind of took me off a little bit less of the grunt work, less of like the errand running, and he kind of sat down with me and started showing me more of the ropes of it and kind of stepped forward with that. He was like, hey, take pride in what you do, kind of thing. Okay. So he gave me kind of a purpose to go forward.
And do you feel it? Do you still feel that drive?
I still do feel that drive. Good. I definitely can, like, visually seeing something every single day, me accomplishing is one of those things it's kind of a pat on my back. Honestly.
Now, we uploaded you the second day of October. Mm-hmm. How quickly after that did you have the job?
I believe after we filmed that episode, I believe it's like maybe a week before you guys uploaded it.
Okay.
So
dating, everything good?
Yeah, everything's great.
Girlfriend still good?
Yes.
No more Houston stupidities?
Houston. We just recently talked about that, and she was like, I know we're like in the spot, like we're trying to get everything done. And I was like, I know. She's like, but I do want to do something.
She can pay for it.
I know. Well, that's why I said, hey, babe, you're going to have to pay for this trip to Houston or whatever we decide to do for your birthday, because her birthday is coming up in a couple months.
Okay, birthdays always come up. It's a unique thing about birthdays. For some reason, they always happen again.
It's weird.
Unless she gets hit by a car, but then you don't have to pay for it. Oh. Okay. Yeah, obviously, I hope that doesn't happen. That was just, Okay. I don't even see an Apple Card. Where's the Apple Card?
So
$477. Is that gone?
That's gone.
Yeah, what happened? Tell me.
I locked it away in a safe somewhere. I gave it to my grandmother. Said, hey.
Really?
Yeah, okay. I gave it to my grandmother, all my credit cards except for the American Express, because that was my grocery card. And I gave all my other credit cards to my grandmother, and she has them all. So I don't even have access to them.
What about the payoff, though? You just attacked it?
Yeah, attacked it. Good. I went hard after it. I just heavy hitting, just went, hey, I've got extra $50, throw it towards it. Everything.
Okay. Good. Blue Cash Preferred, is this a locked away? This is not. This is the American Express. Okay, why would we still have a card then? Why do we still have a card that we are purchasing on that is accruing interest? You're ruining it. You're ruining the vibes. You're ruining the good vibes.
I don't think I've got any interest on that this year, do I?
Interest charge $4.43 in the most recent month. Buddy, I mean, come on. You took the debt class or the budget class. Did you take all the classes?
Mm-hmm. I took all the classes.
Then you know to look at your accounts. You know to budget. If you're budget, you're looking at your statements. You're seeing your interest. You would see it in the Simpler Budget app. Oh, it's glass. Okay. Not glass. Whatever the clay. I don't know.
Ceramic?
Yeah, that substance. Okay. So why the are we still... Wait, let me see. Let me see. I mean, yeah, you put a balance on it, and then interest accrued. You paid off your previous balance, but then you put a balance on it that it paid off in time, and then interest accrued. That's not managing a credit card correctly. That still means you are not a credit card person. So what are we doing, dude? Come on. Come on, tell me.
I think that was honestly a mix-up. I think I paid a lot of the other debts more.
You need to have the full balance as an automatic payment then. Okay. If you're incapable of managing it, use that last tool in your tool belt. And if you can't even manage that, then you can't have a credit card. It's as easy as that. There's who cares? Like, who cares? Why do you need a credit card? Who cares? I know credit advantage is sure, but there's other alternatives like Fizz and stuff. But it's like, why? And like to go up to someone on the street, I use a credit card.
I think
who cares?
Personally, the fact that I've worked my ass off on my credit score and have tried really hard to get it to where it's at.
But you're paying fees for it.
Yeah.
Also known as interest.
And I also they just upped I think it's that one, up the annual fee to $150.
The things you're paying interest for are Chick-fil-A, going in and getting some TikTok shop, Chick-fil-A.
A lot of those Chick-fil-A's are for the office. The last
they reimburse it.
Yes, they do give me cash every day.
I hope so.
At Lowe's,
going and getting some Chick-fil-A bullshit, or gas. That's a little hard to tell with that price tag. That's bullshit. Probably bullshit, man. Dude, it's brutal. You're stopping in and just swiping at Shell, at HEB. It's like every second of every day you're just swipe. What are you getting? Or was zenning it up? You look like a Zen guy.
Yeah, Zen guy.
Okay. I mean, it's just swipe. Chick-fil-A's, 3 more Chick-fil-A's, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, all for the business?
Chick-fil-A's are, yes, those are all breakfast. They ask me to pick up chicken biscuits for the office every morning.
Fat. Okay.
You tell them. And I've got this dude that's like 6 foot tall that weighs 95 pounds and eats 4 of them. I know. I know.
So jealous.
I'm saying.
Interest accrue. I mean, you're paying a fee for the sake of your business that you work for as an intern. Glorified.
They'll usually slip me like a couple extra dollars here.
Well, they better, because you're paying a fee for it. Yeah. You're paying a convenience fee on their behalf. And then how much of that spending was yours?
The McDonald's, I was...
Okay, well, it was still a lot of bullshit.
And a lot of bullshit.
It can be okay or bad depending on the context of the situation. We're going to have to see through the rest of the documents. But regardless, you're paying you've paid interest every month so far. Every month you've paid $30 in interest this year. Every month you're carrying the balance over and not paying it on time. The full balance on time. You're not a credit card. I would lock this, dude.
Lock it.
I'd put it with the grandma. You can't manage it. Okay. Literally, why pay the fee for these purchases?
Okay.
Why? For the privilege of purchasing these. It doesn't make sense. Just put it in your debit. What the is this?
So I opened...
Whoa. I never had a credit card this big last time. Did we?
The 5,000?
The mileage plus? Is this the mileage plus?
No, that's...
What the is this?
So that's a balance transfer. So I paid a 2% fee, I believe it was, to transfer it to a 0 interest card. 0
interest, but you're only making the minimum payments. And what people do when they make a balance transfers, they think they've made progress and let the foot off the gas. Or they just build the other cards back up. And we see you spending on that last card, man. Ruining the vibes. Why? What was the thought? Give me at least the thought.
So
0% interest, is that why?
0% interest, and I could pay the 2% fee.
Yeah, but
and have that. I was paying 2% on $10,000 every month.
I get that, but you're not making any extra payments on this.
So I did want to ask you about that. Do I do the minimum monthlies until the 18 months is done?
It's 18 months?
It's 18 months.
18 months from when, though? Okay, it ends in about 13 months from now.
Okay.
13 payments left of the $5,365.68. As long as you make a payment of $413 a month, I'm okay with it.
So $413 towards that then.
Yeah, hard though, with no spending.
I that's one of the ones I gave to my grandma too.
Good, $413 towards it, not a single miss.
Okay.
Or else all of a sudden you're, dude. Okay, all right. What about Capital One Quicksilver?
That's another one. I've actually have a negative balance on that one.
Okay, what about the Mileage Plus Unlimited?
That was transferred
to there. Okay, so the balance technically did go down then from 9,000 to 5,000. So that is good. Let's celebrate that. Yeah.
Kind of.
What possibly?
I drained all of my retirements to knock out debt.
And listen, here's the thing. Mathematically, we can justify if we have about 30%. You have a 10% penalty for the early retirement, and then the capital gains, either short-term or long-term, depending on when you're investing in it. With the fees, I mean, you might be making like net 10, maybe 5% on it. by paying off the debt. But the reason why a lot of us are against it is, one, obviously you're losing the compounding over time. Okay, but that's not the main thing. It's kind of like the consolidation. What a lot of people do is you use that lump sum, you pay it off. It's a shortcut without changing the behavior, and then you build your debt all the way back up. And no offense, but your spending on that one credit card was not good. It does not show me pure behavior fixing. How much did you pull from retirement?
All of it. I think I've.
So you didn't actually make progress on that card. You just pulled retirement.
Left.
You didn't make progress on that card. You just pulled from retirement. So really, we've made. I mean, mathematically, what the balances are, you've made $0 of progress, because the blue cash went up from 528 to 817. Now the 477 from the Apple Card is gone. Mm-hmm. Same with the 207 from the Quicksilver, but net pulled from retirement to pay off some things. So with net worth wise, you just pulled from here to go here, and it's just like, I mean, it's just like, we're in the same spot. Oh, okay. I'm happy the career stuff's getting better, but man, you didn't buckle down and change this with behavior. You just took shortcuts. Damn it. And it's what I've seen a couple times on this show now. What is this?
That is the 5-point loan. I did make.
How much of that payment was from you or from retirement?
None of that was from retirement. That was all from me.
This is progress. Thank you. Okay, I did not want to just have a negative conversation. Good. This is $3,000 of progress. Because we're sitting at about $1,537.25. It was at $4,657.22.
So I was going with the avalanche method, going with the highest one.
Yeah, it's fine.
Mathematically thinking about it that way.
Except you paid off your smallest ones already, and not this.
Well, I transferred those to that.
Oh, that was the transfer and then retirement payoff. Okay. So
with that one, I've got $3,000, but that one's at a 9.5% rate. So I figured I should probably fight at that one.
If you want to do avalanche, it's fine. So for some people, mentally, it's harder to stick to.
Okay.
Kia Carly's.
So I've got news about that.
Please.
I have been talking, or I did talk to my good friend of mine. We've been friends for over 10 years, and his car broke down, so he took over the payment on it.
What? But is it still under your name?
Still under my name.
Okay, so if anything changes there, obviously the risk is still in your hand.
You
still have the debt.
But it
yeah, I get it.
Deferred.
For now.
Yeah.
What are you doing for transportation?
Me and my girlfriend are sharing a car.
Good. This is how we should have done it to begin with. I can't cross it off. You still have the risk over your head, because he could just be like, oh, can't do this anymore. Sorry. Bye-bye.
Yeah, the car's been...
Or, again, hit by a car. Second time.
The car's been in the shop with EV failures, and he's kind of been knocking up my door recently saying, hey, I don't have a car to drive. Why am I paying for a car that... So I'm hoping that'll get out of the shop soon. Hopefully. But it is all covered under warranty, so nothing should come out of pocket for that.
Then deal with that now.
Okay.
That is the solution. Okay, checking account was like nothing last time. What, negative maybe? $652 this time. That's good. Lots of Zellen transfers back and forth. Lots of Zellen. Probably to the girlfriend. Lots of Zellen. ATM withdrawals. Zellen every second of our life. What are we doing?
That's all I use that for. I don't.
What's it for? It's Zell. What are we doing? Every second.
She pays for some stuff. I send her money for it. I pay for some stuff. She'll send me money for it.
Last time there was $10 in savings. What about now?
I believe I've got $35. Focusing on debt.
And retirement's nothing.
And retirement's nothing anymore.
Is there a match at this company?
There's no match. They, especially with my position.
It's weird, though, because it saves them tax money. Okay. Okay. $3,000 of progress. I'm happy with that. Okay. I'm happy with that. 6 months, lower income scale, and now we've upped our income a bit more. Need to deal with this warranty situation now, and hopefully he can take it back.
It's been over 27 days now. It's been in the shop.
Yeah, but have you tried to...
I've gone up there at least 3 times a week. And
is this the dealership?
Yeah, it's the dealership. And it's the dealership I used to work at too. And they're like, hey, we've got to call in a specialist from California. We've got to get a specialized guy because we don't have any EV technicians here. And I mean, I get their side of the story, but also...
Did I give you a car?
No, whenever I purchased the vehicle, a lot of dealerships now will do a loaner car waive your loaner car rights.
Yeah, but I mean, I have a EV. I'm not gonna say what brand because someone's gonna scratch it.
Spray paint it
or something, huh?
Or spray paint it.
Or spray paint it. But when I take it to the shop for anything, they just give me one. They don't even think. They're just like, hey, you want the fanciest, coolest car ever that we have?
Contacted the Kia company itself. And
it's such an old school company.
I know. And they said we might be able to give you a reimbursement, but it's all contingent on tons of different factors, and we might not give you your money back if you. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna.
It's great customer service, guys. Customer first. Woo woo. Yeah. Okay. You obviously need to deal with that situation. Hopefully, you can take over the payment after that is solved. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I need you to just start nailing down the $3,000 of progress. As long as you continue rolling that over. You are $3,000 in 6 months.
I think I calculated it in the car on my way up here. I think I've got about 8,000 left.
Yeah, that's about what I'm seeing. You did $500 a month on average towards it, so I mean, it still takes a year and a quarter. But I think you can ramp it up, man. I mean, you're spending with You didn't overspend this time, which is thank goodness. I mean, you're making that, you break it even and actually making progress, average of $500 a month. But now you have a second job. Funnel that money not towards fun and cut your fun in half at least. I'd cut it down to about a third of what you're doing now. And then funnel it towards the debt. Get out of debt in 6 months. You did this in 6 months. Get out of debt completely in 6 months.
So
which you can do.
Do you think I should go ahead and knock out the zero interest card then? Just go ahead and just
attack the other one first and then hit the 0% interest. But either way, you'd be debt free in 6 months, which is worth it. Okay. And then save up your fully funded emergency fund. Call that in another 6 months. Okay. And that's great. Then when we sit down at that point, you're in an incredible position. What a redemption arc. Mm-hmm. Cut the bull. You can have a little bit of bullshit if you really need to, but I would just cut it as much as you can. And then funnel this new income only towards debt. Nothing else. No birthday, no Houston, no gambling, no around. Take care of this. Be debt free in 6 months. You can be. If we have to have a little bit of an income pause for the school thing, that's okay. It's a worthy return on investment for the rest of your career. I'm okay with that. We'll talk about that next time. If that happened, I will allow it. Okay. But you will still be able to at least make your payments and hopefully have the 0% one paid by the time that it is done. All right. Let's give you an updated Hammer financial score. That's what I need you to do. I know it's a pretty basic thing. It's not like a crazy thing I'm telling you. No. But that's what this needs to look like going forward. And if this is another fire lit under the butt to get you there, then it will have been worth it. You're spending a budget. You spent in a budget. Money was going towards debt. It wasn't perfect, but I'll give you a solid 5 out of 10. Debt, it is not the worst debt. We got 0 out of 10. Or we got 0% interest. The key thing's a bit weird. But really, even still, the personal loan came down. Everything else kind of stayed the same. Can't really do more than a 2 out of 10 there, keeping you about even. Emergency fund still 0, unfortunately. And what's going to keep your Hammer financial score pretty much the same as retirement now went down to 0 from 4. And real estate is 0 out of 10. Technically, it should be slightly higher. Let's find out. Yeah, last time it was rounded up, and this time it's still rounded up to a 1.5. It's because you did transfers. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll move your debt up to a 3 because there was progress, even if that doesn't fully make sense. Let's see. I think it kind of does. There you go. You get moved up to a 2. Hammer financial score rounded up to a 2 out of 10, okay? Okay. Guys, make sure to download the Simpler Budget app today. For those who sign up for the annual version and start taking control of your money, I send you that cookbook signed by me directly to you. And same with our Simpler Budget Founders Edition notebook journal. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.